Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So I want to follow up on the video I did earlier on because we've had this tweet coming out and it's caused a little bit of a, I want to call it a bit of a stir, a little bit of speculation to run rampant within the community. But I want to speak about it because it's really odd, right? I'll get into why it's odd, but we'll read the tweet first. So that's that image, that's the same image that was used in the initial collab, okay? Rumour has it that the notorious villain is coming to the Duel, which is weird. It could be true, or could it be true? Either way, the half-shell heroes have returned to protect the city once more, right? So, that's a tweet, very vague, very... Immediately people are like, oh wow, Shredder, that's it, it's confirmed, we're getting Shredder. But first of all, people really are not understanding what confirmed means. But the thing that's really odd, right, is in this game, in any game really, but in this game, if you've got a license for someone like Shredder, right, why would you run with the imagery of the initial collab, right? They've got to the point now, if that is what they're doing, like people are assuming that they're doing, they've got to the point where they can talk about it, right? Now, you guys may or may not be aware of this, some of you might not, but when myself, other YouTubers actually flat out showed you guys, here's the turtles in the files. If you were asking on the Discord about this, the staff would not even as much as reference the fact that you had said that. They wouldn't give you hints, they wouldn't give you anything because they can't, okay? They are not allowed to hint at new units. You go and you check, just do a search on the Discord, look at staff. Staff don't hint at new units. They only tell you about new units when new units are coming, they're confirmed and they're allowed to tell you, okay? And at that point, they usually put out artwork, imagery or whatever to go along with the unit, right? So it's super strange that if you've got the license for Shredder, you would not in any way, shape or form use him to promote your collab, okay? I mean, it would just need to be something as simple like this initial image here. All you would need to do is maybe, this is a bit of a mock-up, right, but make something like that, right? Just really faded in the background, you've got a picture of Shredder, that's it, right? If you've not got a license for the character, you can't do that though, right? So that's a bit of a red flag, right? And the only reason I say that is because I never really thought about it from this point of view. I just thought it was really weird and I was kind of hoping that maybe they weren't, like, I don't mean trolling, that probably sounds the wrong way to put it, but maybe just saying something that would allow people's minds to run rampant, right? But like someone quite rightly pointed out, I don't know if it was in my comment section or on Discord or something, or Reddit, I'm not in the Discord, so it must have been Reddit, but the story was like abandoned. If you remember the first collab, we got part 1, we should have had a part 2 that continued the story, but for some reason it just went off in some random tangent, and someone quite rightly pointed out that what if that's just in reference to that? Now, again, the only reason I'm saying this is quite literally because people are now literally acting like they have now confirmed Shredder, right? And all I'm saying is, if they've got the license for Shredder, why would they not lead with Shredder, okay? The only other thing that would make even remote sense as to why they would do that is they are doing the rerun. We know they're doing the rerun. They're bringing back the turtles, they're doing part 1 again, they're going to do part 2 again, right? As if they've brought out a part 3, and part 3 is going to be Shredder, which means technically speaking he might be a little while before he actually drops, but he might be like a part 3 unit type thing. The downside to that though is if they do that, we already know the tickets are only valid for the first 2 parts. They're valid for part 1 and part 2 of the collab celebration that's being rerun. So why are they bringing back the turtles? Some people are going to say it's because if they're going to bring back Shredder, or they're going to launch Shredder, they might be bringing out these guys as a rerun to give people who never got a chance to get them the first time the chance to get them in preparation for Shredder. Okay, but why? And the reason I say but why is because Shredder's not going to fit on their team. Their team is constructed in such a way that all 4 of these units go together, right? And they all have synergy going together, i.e. you get a buff from Michelangelo if you've got a full team of turtles, Raphael if you've got a full team of turtles, Michelangelo, full team of turtles, Donatello if you've got a full team of turtles. It does not make sense that Shredder would have something like that. The most logical thing they could give to Shredder would be, does 150% additional damage when facing a Turtles unit, like something like that. So it doesn't actually make sense that Shredder would fit onto the Turtles team. Quite the opposite, in fact. It would make more sense that Shredder would be in opposition to the Turtles team, right? So ultimately, nothing really changes from what we said earlier. It's still going to be a rerun, 2 events, 2 parts of an event that realistically we've done before. There's no actual content there. There's no net gain because the Turtles tickets don't carry over to any quote-unquote part 3 or whatever they decide to go with. The other option is he gets dropped as a legend. But even then, it still doesn't make sense that on the countdown and stuff like that, you wouldn't have Shredder as the picture, as the poster child or whatever. Now, some people might say it's because he's a legend, they only put special summons on those countdown type things. Well, that's not true, because when we got Nero and Virgil, Nero appeared in the countdown. We knew he was coming, he was a legendary unit, he still appeared in the imagery of the game, right? They've never hidden a character. It's not something they've done. When they've announced the collab and a unit is going to be part of that collab celebration, they have used the image front and centre, and why wouldn't they? Like, immediately the rerun, if that's what it is, the part whatever, it becomes more desirable if you can show people, look, it's not the same old, we've got Shredder, maybe we've potentially got Splinter, whatever. I flat out said in my video earlier, doing a rerun as is sucks. I could see the point if maybe part 1's got Shredder, maybe part 2's got Splinter, or vice versa. I says then it's got a bit more benefit to it, right? So obviously, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if we're going to get Shredder, or if we're not going to get Shredder. I do think it would ultimately add more value in, but there's definitely something fucky going on here. This isn't just straight up in part 1 or part 2, we're randomly going to have Shredder, because they would show him. There's no reason they wouldn't show him. He would be in the data files, he would be used on their Twitter. They wouldn't be hiding him, because to even hint, they must already be at the point they can use him, right? Even if he's coming further down the line, and the reason I say that is because when we got the Turtles, we got part 1, they told us the exact date that we were going to get part 2. Right, we knew when part 2 was coming. We had seen the character art or whatever for the other 2 units, which was Raphael and Donatello. They weren't hidden, right? It's just really strange that he's not actually being announced. I would say that he's definitely being alluded towards, 100%. That cannot really mean anything other than Shredder. Like, there's nothing else it could mean. The wording's really off. That's all I'm saying, the wording's really off. Usually they say something like, new character to acquire, add character to your team. They're usually quite specific to say something that points out this is a character you're going to be able to obtain or whatever, and the fact that it doesn't say that here, it's just got me worried that, again, people just think I'm fucking doom and gloom with whatever I say, but I just think that immediately people are adding 2 and 2 together and thinking, right, that's it, Shredder's confirmed. This is quite literally not what confirmation is, and I'm just saying that if Shredder was definitely about to drop and we were definitely going to get Shredder soon, there is no goddamn way that this picture you're looking at right now, that it wouldn't be a picture of Shredder. There's just no way. That is how they operate. They would be using him to promote this, and I don't know, the wording in this message is really strange, like really, really strange. They've announced the collab, it's not a secret, it's not something they need to hide. If he was coming, like now, if he was ready to go, his image would be here. So all I'm saying is just temper your expectations that, okay, maybe we'll get him, but it might still be something fucky, like he's going to be a part 3 that comes later on. He might be a legend or something like that, because if he was going to be a special summon unit, he would definitely be in the countdown. There's no doubt about it. They would not lead with a bloody image of Leonardo, right? They just wouldn't do it. They would be leading with a picture of Shredder, because if they were leading with a picture of Shredder, the first videos that you would see, the first posts that you would see is, oh my god, Shredder's coming to the Turtles. Here you go, here's an image of him and all the rest of it. That is called promotion. You promote these things, okay? If, for some reason, he is just going to randomly drop with this, then what that actually confirms to me is they are even dumber than I thought. They have a license, they can promote something, and instead of doing that, they're deciding to use the stuff that they already used the first time around and making it seem like they're just doing a rerun. So, he might come, he might. I mean, there's only two things that message can mean. Either he's going to be in the game as part of the story, maybe not a summon, or he is going to be part of the summon. I don't know, right? Even just reading that, it says, rumour is the notorious villain is coming to the duel. Could it be true? Either way, the half-shell heroes have returned to protect the city once more. That could literally just mean in the story. In the story, the Turtles have heard that Shredder's about to attack Streetfighter or Duel Metro City or whatever the hell it's called. And they're here now to try and take him out. And it turns out it's not really Shredder, it's actually Bison again. I don't know. They could just be playing on that, and hopefully they're not, because that would be pretty underhanded. But again, if they had the license and he was ready to go, I honestly genuinely think it would be his picture you were looking at right here, and I just think it's really weird. And all I'm saying is, just at least reserve a bit of scope in your head that, okay, maybe he won't, maybe he will. Don't just go into it thinking 100% confirmed, definitely happen, 100% it's going to happen, I'm getting him, that's it, Shredder's coming to Street Fighter Duel, he's mine. Because that would be something you could do if he was confirmed. This is not confirmation. All I'm saying, right? Again, I know people are going to say you're just like poo-pooing on everything. I'm not. I'm just telling you how this company works, how they promote things. We used to know about things flat out, and I didn't need to technically do this, but I would go to Dino and I would say, Dino, look, I've got this image here, I'm going to go make a video. He'd be like, no, don't, you know what I mean? You've gone into the files and got that, just wait, you know what I mean? Wait till they're ready, because you can't do it. They as staff couldn't do it. They couldn't like confirm things until they had the license, they were ready to go, and as soon as they were ready, the very first thing that they do is they put out imagery of the units. And I just think it's really strange how that's not happened. So I'm just saying, reserve a little bit of a chance that maybe this could mean something else. That's all I'm saying. Because ultimately, I'll be honest with you, I'll be completely honest, he's not going to fit in the Turtles team anyway. If they are going to bring out Shredder, I would much rather they actually do a part 3, right? They don't need to rerun part 1 and part 2. Do a part 3 and potentially do a part 4. And we need a villain team. We would need Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady and Krang, because if he's not going to fit on the Turtles team, that just means you're going to have a Shredder that goes on random ass Street Fighter teams. And to be honest, after making a full Turtles team like this, if you're going to do that, if you're going to go down that route, I think it would make a lot more sense to have a heroes and a villains team, right? But that's obviously huge wishful thinking on my part, right? But all I'm saying is just a modicum of allowance that maybe this means something else, because all I'm going to say is if Shredder was here, he was ready to go, they would just confirm him and they would show you a picture of him. I don't know why they're doing this weird stealth thing. Technically speaking, there is rumours that Shredder's coming, because fans have been speculating it since the collab got announced. Or what if they're going to add Shredder? What if they're going to add Shredder? What if they're going to add Shredder? I think they'll add Shredder this time. So technically speaking, even if they've got no intention of adding him, that's not a lie, because rumour has it that a notorious villain might come to Street Fighter Duel. Technically speaking, they're not lying, because the community has been speculating that. But I just think that if they were doing that, that would be pretty underhanded. So they're definitely implying something here. It's just really strange that if it was going to be Shredder, they wouldn't just show you his picture. There's no secrets at this point. So anyway, again, all I'm saying is just temper your expectations. On the off chance that there's something else at play here, that's it. Nothing more. I'm not saying he's not coming. I'm not trying to poo-poo anything. I'm just saying this is a weird way to do it. If you've got the license, it's a weird way to do it. You would lead with that. He would be your promotional piece. He would be the picture you use. You wouldn't make rehash units the picture you use, because again, to the mass market, they're going to look at this and they're going to go, wait, did they not just do the turtles in Street Fighter like 3 or 4 months ago? They would. If you lead with Shredder, people would be like, oh wow, they're adding Shredder into Street Fighter Duel now. That's a completely different set of optics on it, and you're far more likely to get people who maybe joined up for the Turtles that left again, going, oh wait, they're adding Shredder now, I'm going to go back. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't really make any sense to me. But we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, let me know what you think. You probably just think I'm being paranoid at this point, but, you know, there's just things that don't make sense about it. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.